Say welcome, welcome, welcome. Hang on, let's get this turned on. Awesome. Check, check. Let's go through the rest of the stuff. How's everybody doing? Well, I got my last of my checklist done here. I couldn't wait anymore, so I had to jump in, right? I've missed you guys. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to scroll down here. I want to get my volume under control. I want to do that. Okay. 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 How has everybody been? Hopefully, we are holy Hannah, as Mike would say, holy Hannah. We went from kind of acceptable weather yesterday here in the Midwest to, oh dear Lord, today it is smoking hot. We went out and grabbed some lunch. Me and the posse did here, and it was about as hot as you'd want it to be. That's all I can tell you. Just going across the parking lot. So, um, so just to catch up a little bit, whatever the case is, we are on Hawkeye, Iowa 4X by K Farms. Kay's been nice enough to share this with me ahead of time. We've been kind of digging into it, kind of RBP style, as you guys have come accustomed to. Um, haven't really got into any big projects yet. Kind of the map does have a I will call an abandoned quarry on the map. So we're kind of in there revamping that and getting that kind of dialed in, if you will, to get it to bring it back, if that makes sense. Um, on this map here, I actually have been spending a lot of time on the new house and the new, you know, um, MTV Cribs thing, if you will. So I've been spending a lot of time on the house and doing stuff. Probably going to work on that today for a while and do that. So it's going to kind of be some repetitional things there, but we'll have plenty of time to talk and hang out and do whatever. If we've got questions or somebody wants to see something or whatever, we'll let that just kind of guide where we go. Um, I probably do owe everybody a what do you want to say, a revised map preview of uh, of this map. Okay, we did one. We did a preview on this map here. Um, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and it was about a week after that K come out with a revision, and it's not just. I mean, the basis of the preview are the same, if you will. You know, the map, physically fields, all that stuff is the same, but he added an enormous amount of content to it, whether it's farms, whether it's decorations, placeables. The map is, I don't want to say it's completely different, but it feels a lot different now based on everything he's added to it. So, like I said, today I just really, I've been out for a while. I've had some stuff I've had to deal with away from the house, away from stuff like this. So today I just kind of want to get back, get the get the uh, get the map pulled up and just really kind of just do my thing and have a not really worry about that yet. But we will get another preview of this current version that I'm on. I think it's got final in the title, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm putting doing a lot of different things on this one here too because of that. So we'll just see how that kind of goes. But as I've always said, appreciate Kay trusting me with his work and to show it off. It means more than he'll ever realize to allow me to do this. And I do enjoy this. I really do. So that part's cool. I think we've got all the um, housekeeping things. K Farms, thanks for the sub. You're too kind, sir. You are too kind. Um, I do have another series that I'm going to have come out this next week, and it's kind of Kay and Chris. I see you. I see you. I love you guys being in here, man. It's really cool. Appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. Um, I do have a series that's going to come out, and it's actually something. What do they do that from the archives or from the stuff that um, is you know what I mean, has something that is old. So back in the day, I like this. Back months ago, I was working on a map called Scott County, and it was a map that I kind of got early there too, as you well. And I dove into that and kind of started doing that RPP style as well. I did several road projects in there. I did several I did concrete plants in there. I think we did, if Mars is here, that's where we did the waterway, where we actually built a levee and put the pipes in it for the water to flow out the bottom of it. We did a couple of those. So there's quite a bit of some things we did on Scott County. I think there's about 6 or 7 episodes that I found saved in my computer, kind of in the back, that I kind of had lost track of. So this is kind of pre. This is kind of pre me putting stuff onto YouTube. And like I said, I think there's about 6 or 7 episodes. So I'm going to go grab those. I'm going to start putting those out, 1 or 2 a week, and kind of get that stuff back on there. I think there's a lot of neat little projects we did on there. Kay, appreciate you letting your people know what we're doing here and sharing me with them. I appreciate you very, very much. But anyway, with all that being said, look for that Scott County to come out, and it's got a lot of good stuff in there too, and a lot of good ideas for people to do. Typically, I guess, we can kind of touch this a little bit. I do farm and farm 725, contrary to probably what everybody believes. I typically will do that on my own, you know what I mean, and on the same map, but I'll do it kind of in a non-stream manner. We can do farming on here if we want. Kay has welcome in, Shane. Welcome in. I appreciate the follow. Kay has a server map that he's got out, and he's looking for people on there. And I've been really staring at that pretty hard, thinking maybe I need to jump in and do some farming with him. You know what I mean? And so if I could get in there and talk to him. Morning, everybody. Morning. Well, I guess we're not morning. We're afternoon. Good afternoon. Hopefully, everybody's in a cool place. But I know Chris is working on a map for us for 16x, but might jump in with Kay ahead of time here until he gets that going. Kay, appreciate the gifted subs. Appreciate it. If you've received a sub from Kay, please get in there and thank him. Appreciate you. Mr. Mike, how are you? I'm back. It's been an interesting 2 weeks for me, so I've missed being around you guys and seeing you and talking to you. Not much I can share. It's just some family stuff we had to kind of deal with. Everything's fine, but just a couple little things that were more important in gaming and doing this type of stuff. So, but we're back, and we're going to have some fun today. We're going to show off a couple things here on this thing here. Kind of show you what we got going on. I've got about 3 or 4 different project sites kind of here that we're kind of working on. And like I said, the biggest thing for today is I'd like to get my house a little bit farther along. So we're going to kind of work on that. And again, I'm going to repeat, we will come back and do a preview of this new almost final version of Hawkeye Iowa here before Kay releases it. So let's jump in and go for a ride. I think kind of been liking this thing here as my get around vehicle lately. I don't know, it's kind of neat. I like it. I need one of these IRL. I have one, but it's not like this. So anyway, let's do just a brief little project. Yeah, Chris, what I'm looking forward to is no matter what state your map is in, and Mike is still here, he needs to hear this. Mike Pett, thank you, sir. Welcome in, my friend. I would not be here streaming, doing the things I need to do. Right there is the guy that's encouraged me even to do this stuff and to do that. So appreciate you more than you'll ever know, buddy. Appreciate you being in here too. But so Mike, you need to hear this. So what I want, Chris has got this, big boy map is all I can call it, and so either we do it on that pre-release, but what I want to do is I want to get a map set up, and literally the only mods on it. Now hear me out here. The only mods we're going to have on this map are fishing poles and fishing boats. It's the only thing allowed on it for mods, nothing else. Maybe you could pick a truck out that you want to pull your boat to the lake with, right? But that's it. No tractors, no terraform, no dump trucks, no decorations, like nothing. Fishing boats and maybe a truck. And then we on a certain night, I love here. We got to stop do this. I love this right here. Um, uh, and we're gonna have a fishing tournament. So what this is here, let's go back. If for those that didn't see the preview, this all this stuff here is I think the same. I don't think anything in here is really changed. But let's go back up here and come back down this hill again. Yeah, that's all I want to do. Just a fishing tournament one night, and we sit there and just have fun and listen. We all create our own farm, right, in the game, and then we register to that, so that keeps track of how much fish we catch and the money. Okay, think about it. So as you come down the hill here, here's the elevators here, um, and there's a production here. Got the scales in and out, and then here behind, as you drive back here, in IRL, this stuff here, the part of the laydown yard for this quarry is up here, um, but Kay has it tucked here around the corner now, and you can kind of see back as we look here. Some of that's in the map, and some of it's the scenery back. But he's got a bridge to come back here, and then he's got this low water crossing here for all the heavy equipment. So any of the big tractors, anything that's real heavy, that's what I mean, doesn't fit the weight limit of the bridge, it just comes through here, or maybe even wide load comes through here. That's like, I love it. So back here is the abandoned quarry, okay, and these some of it is just the terrain, if you will, and then these piles here, those are actually placeables. But this lime pile right here, okay, this lime pile, this is actually a purchase point. You can show up here with your loader, and you just just hurt my toe. Um, you can get lime here and load it in your truck or your grain cart or whatever you need to do. And this here is a buy point for for lime. And then these here are just the form here. These are big piles of limestone that I added here. So what the thought process here is the quarry in the back is where everything's produced at, and it's brought up and kind of stored in this area here. This was all abandoned though. I kind of come in and straighten this out a little bit, made a couple rooms for stuff like this here, but it kind of felt like this was going to become the area to to load stuff. Okay, and then back here is where I've been kind of working. So um, got a couple bottom dumps sitting here. So this is kind of where the limestone part of the quarry ended. Got some dirt sitting there. Excavator loader's been working in there, kind of digging inside of that. Came in and brought this up to kind of level this off. And then here is here, like most quarries have, like it's down in the lower part of the quarry there, is there's usually a spot where water, congregates or gets flowed to. So it's got that in there. Um, got the road dug around here, around this thing a little bit. Um, and then what you'll see here, if we drive around, piece of equipment's back here working. So we we were running the pan back here and using it pretty good, and then we've been kind of load some of this out here. But what you'll see here, let's see. Let me click here real quick. See, oops, I hate when I do that. All right. Maze, appreciate you coming in. Thank you for hanging out. And then Shane, welcome. If I didn't say that, I apologize. So what we have here is you'll see, but here we're taking this hill down here, right? And how far we take it down, I would say we'd probably at least go to where that end of that quarry is. We'll take this hill all the way down, and then we've got a temporary. We come and cleared some trees out. We got our silt fence in here, and then we come in here and got this temporary bridge in here so we can get across over this area. And then here's the pan sitting up here. and we got a spot to kind of just get all of our dirt in a place. And eventually, what will happen as we kind of get going here, we got to get this corn out of here. So that's going to be a goal, but waiting for it to mature. We'll get this corn out of here, and then we will get some of the big off-road trucks back here and start getting all this dirt moved out of here. Obviously, you can see there's the tree muncher, right? Anybody that's been around me very much knows that that's a major, major, major piece of machinery in there. Um, I don't know if how many of these challengers that people use. I found this one here. I'd have to look and see where this one came from. This one's really, really, really nice. It comes with 3 different hitch types in the back. This is more of a civil setup here in the back where it's got the swing hitch on it. It comes with a 3-point and then a standard hitch. But this is pretty neat. It's got 10 windows in it and everything else. But I really have liked this machinery. I actually been using it a lot. I was using a 2-track that was the John Deere, and I have one on this map. But I probably got to if I need another one, I'm probably gonna replace it with one of those. But anyway, these bridges here, I get a kick out of these. This is enough to take the dip out of the bottom, let the water go through. But I just love the placeful aspect of that. So that's kind of what's going on here. Not not a lot going on here. Like I said, this is kind of someplace I come up here when I don't really want to think about much, if that makes sense. And I just dig, right? So, Mike, if you're still here, so what I do, you've been using that dozer or that little dozer with the ripper on the back. What I do is I hook this disc on the back of that Challenger, okay, and I drag that over the whole area. I'm getting ready to get all the vegetation out of it. So I do that first, and then I come back with the pan or whatever it is I'm using to start moving some of this other stuff out. So just give you an idea there. But you can kind of see if you come up here. Let's see if I can sneak around here. I said this little machine is pretty cool. Got a little flex to her. And there's this road over here. So this will, we'll probably, not really sure how this is going to work, but we'll just keep working on this here to figure out how this all flows together. I don't know that I have an idea with that yet. But there's a little dirt vein. We got limestone up here. We got it piling up. And I just needed to have some limestone up here too. And now we need to get to some dirt. So again, I don't really have any other productions put down at this point. And then, so I think you've heard several of us talk about this everything buildable mod. So that means if you place something down, it actually you have to build it. It don't just kind of pop down, if that makes sense, right? And so if you're going to role play that, your tree, are them tires wet? Feels like them tires are wet. Hang on. Them tires, they're wet from driving through that water, aren't they? Sure look like it. That's kind of cool. So it all of a sudden makes logging a whole lot more valuable. And it's not to say you can't go buy that material, okay? Um, it's not to say you can't go buy it, but it definitely puts you in a scenario where you're either buying it or producing it, okay? All right, let's go look at one more thing. We got to go check on one other thing I got going on here, and then we can head back to the house and we're going to work over there. I don't understand why this thing says it'll do 124, but it's done at 44. Not that that's the problem, I'm just saying. But welcome in, everybody. Like I said, if you have a question, want to know something, so what you're going to notice now as I'm driving, and this is going to be part of the preview that I'm going to do for everybody on this newer version, is there is a lot more farms. There's a lot more detail. And we're going to stop by a farm over here, something else, and see if everybody remembers this from my preview I did the other day. I don't think that's the road. I think it's down here. Is it down here? What you're going to notice is things like this I just drove past, right? There's pastures, and the cows are out in them already. The last one we had, they weren't out in it. Oh, yeah, that was the road. Hold on. Gotta save. All right, so we're going to go back here. And we're going to go to this farm down here. Again, I'd have to go back and look at this farm here. I don't believe this was here last time. But we're going to go through, we're going to look back at we're going to go and review the tape. And then we'll come in and we'll go preview the whole thing and remind you which ones are the new ones. All right, let's get down the road here. We'll probably get out here and work on some of these roads too. You know how I like to mess with those. So we'll probably get some road work going. But wait till we go out here. I'm going to show you this. And you tell me if you remember me talking about this. The other thing I noticed is this map has basically the crops that I'm used to here in my area. And there's a lot of onions on this one already, which we're going to probably have to figure out how to mess with those once so I know how to do it. I've never messed with onions, but I want to know how. All right, let's see. We're going to go out. There should be a farm up here on my left somewhere. Let's see how we're going to work on that road. See how that road is? We're going to work on that. I think, yeah, we're going to get down here. And then this 45. Yep. This right here. All right. All right, we get up to this farm up here. You tell me if you remember what I'm about ready to tell you. And unless I just totally missed this last time, and that's possible, okay? So this farm here, right? We came up into this area right here, and we were up here because I had my tractor sitting up here because I was getting ready to plant some trees over here, right? I don't know if you remember that, but I had it kind of set up. I was going to plant some trees over here. I looked down this thing. I said, well, this is a big gap right here. It's almost like an airfield for a farmer that has a plane, right? And all of a sudden, this morning, I come in here, and it's got these buildings. I think were here, but look what's in the barn. Look what's in the shed over here. I know that wasn't there before. It's got an airplane in here. I like that touch. Is that not awesome? Man, I know it's just decoration, but the fact that you see farmers that have this and these little airfields on their farms. When you look like through the state of Illinois and like look at the farm, zoom down a little bit low on the stuff, you'll just see how many registered airfields there are like that. It's just crazy. I just thought that was a nice touch. All right, let's go check on my tree plant out here. So we bought this field up here. All right. Bought this field. Oh, truck's way back there in the corner. Let's go figure out what's going on with him. We bought this field for the purpose of planting trees. Okay. I don't know how many of you guys have done trees, right? Now, what I've noticed on 25, okay, what I well, it looks like it might be done. Hang on, hang on. Let's get down a little lower. So what I noticed on 25, FS 25, yeah, I think that might be done. Okay, uh, is when you go out into the woods and stuff like that, and we're going to stop up here and look at it. Got to get the truck out of here before it's stuck back here. I did come cut trees down, just get it out. All right. What I noticed with FS25 is I like my new tree planting rig right there. Mike has got to see this before. Oh, there's trails up here. There's trails up north. Oh, trails up. Okay, yeah, I'll go check it out. Oh yeah, I've been over there. I've been over there. Yeah, on in the up. You're talking about up in this area up here. Up here. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I did a preview on this on the previous version, and I'm gonna have to come in and do another one because there's just too much. And kind of to your point, I want to spend a little more time on here now because I kind of did my preview like a fresh, like never been on it thing. No, you didn't tell me, but I'll go find them now. Um, but now I want to spend a couple days on it. You know what I mean? So I'll be able to spend some time like this week, and then and I'm going to do the one preview on the map that I'm using, but then jump in and do a preview of the whole thing after I've kind of learned it a little bit better. But last time I kind of wanted to just have a fresh look at it. Well, anyway, so here's my question. Okay, when you come into the woods on FS25, you get a variety of trees, right? And as I'm walking in here, there's not many of these trees that work with a processor. Okay, if you look here, right, and whether these are the trees that are being planted or whether these are the ones that come through a giant editor, none of that matters. I'm just simply saying all these trees, you are literally using a manual saw to do it, or you're using one of those big John Deere ones that cut like from the bottom, and when it latches on it, the tree's so big it tips the tractor over. So what I find I'm doing when it comes to this stuff here is I'm using my chainsaw, cutting them down, and I'm using a winch on the back of one of my quad tracks and dragging it somewhere, tree by tree, okay, to a sawmill or something like that, right? So I'm going to be the first. I got my hand in there. You can't see me, all right? But I'll be the first one to tell you I did not know what I'm about ready to tell you until the last month, okay? Look at all these trees in here, okay? And this whole field, if we run through here, look, this whole field, don't pay attention to that. The machine is dumb. But this whole field is full of these trees, right? Whole thing. Look at, they're all in rows. See how they're all in rows? All right. I did not know that if you had a plowed field, right, a field in the map, that you could bring your tree planting rig up, set it on that property, hit your AI worker, and he would run around the whole map and plant a field full of trees. Now, if you guys knew that, I'm just going to say, okay, great. I did not. So now what could happen, and me and Mike have a server map that we're setting up for role play, so it's not ready to use yet, but we're still setting it up. I've got I don't know if Chris is still in here, he might know because I think he's seen it when I was doing it. I think I got a 156 acre field I'm doing this in on our role play map, okay? So that we're going to have a good tree supply because of how much we're going to build and do, right? But most of the time, I can tell you in the past, I'd get in the rig here and we would be planting in here for a couple days and hauling all this tree stuff back and forth to get this done, right? And all I did is click the AI button and off it went, right? I can tell you on the one that Mike and I are working on, the field we're doing this on is so big, right? Let's do this. Field 57. It's 30 acres, okay? The last time I checked my rig on our roleplay server that we're setting up, he was still in there going. I'm sure the truck is dead now. But when I left the last time I checked it, the truck had 45 hours on it planting trees. And it was in one field. 45 hours in one field, and it wasn't done planting trees. I mean, how many trees do you think are in that on that field? You know what I mean? But here's why. All these trees will be harvestable by one of those processing machines. So you'll be able to walk up to it, right? Grab it, cut it, put it into 3 or 4 lengths, whatever it is you want to do. Show up with your um, log truck, load your logs up and haul them where you need to go. So that's what the cool part is. Is these are the ones you could use the, you know, oops. The trees that are going in there, those are the ones you can use these harvesters on here. Okay. These are the ones you can use in there on that, or these things here. Now I can see I don't have mine in here, so I'm going to go put it in here as a mod. But I have a certain one of these I use. I don't use any of those there. I had to go grab it. To be quite honest with you, if you really want to know, I've used this case right here, this 350D case. I've used that thing a ton to do the processing, and I use the new crap, the new link build I use for it too. So any one of these excavators, I've kind of got myself trained that I start using these more often to do that tree harvesting. So you come in here. The only thing I always make a mistake of is when I come in here, I never can remember. Let's scroll to it and find it real quick. I usually can't remember, do I want the dangling head or the fixed? I usually have to buy both and then remember which one I like. But that's, I use one of these here. I think it's the fixed. Honestly, I think it's the dangling head I think I use because I think it stays level all the time, I think. But I use this one in one of the harvesters or one of the excavators, and that's what I do. Justin and I back in the day used to have a different actual purpose build harvester that we would use. But I've got the point that since I have so many excavators in my gameplay, I think I just made it easy and just use that. All right. I just wanted to get that tree. So what we're going to do up here on this field, once I get out of here, I think if I do this, there you go. Look at that. So it's kind of funny. That reminds me of something. Okay. Is a lot of people like to play in first person, and I do too to a point. But I always feel like when I'm streaming, people would rather see this and see what's going on like this than to, to say that, you know what I mean, you're in a more natural spot. You know what I mean? I that's just me. All right, let's get out of here. So I think what my plan is I'm probably going to set up just like a little area here, uh, kind of like maybe this farmer sold this field off or rents it to it or something, right? And then we got a tree farm going here, so we'll probably build some kind of logging operation, not a full-blown sawmills and stuff here, but do something where we can process that. And I was thinking maybe the logging company come in and bought this property, bought this farm, right? Maybe the house as we let it sit here, the weeds grow up around it, makes it look a little bit more abandoned, and we put our whole logging operation out here in this field right here. Look at this, right? Maybe we do that. I don't know. We'll just go with the flow, I guess. We'll see what happens. But I will tell you that in the past, I have used the tractors to do this process right here. Um, I've used tractors to do all this planting. And here, I stumbled across this Mercedes truck here with the 3-point hitch on the back. And I love use because what can happen is I can put the extra crates of trees in the bed of the truck, right? And then as the because its weird thing is this planter only lets you put one thing on it at a time, even though it had, you know what I mean? I guess that's the open area for where the tree goes. So now you can put a bunch of pallets in the back of this truck right here and do that, right? So I really got a kick out of using that truck to do that. And like I told you on Mike's role play map, I've been battle testing that truck. Now Mike has all the, and the role play thing that's way different than when I'm doing this. He's got, gosh, he'd have to tell us. He's got the damage mod, the mud mod, the pre-test mod, the oil check mod, the washer fluid mod check, maintenance mod check, battery check. You know what I mean? There's probably 100 mods attached to just the maintenance of the vehicles or something. I'm kidding. It's probably five, but he's really got it realistic for us so that it's really going to give us a really good role play atmosphere. So yeah, this might become our new logging empire right here. And I didn't realize there's this big field over here, but we're probably going to let that house kind of go and see what we can make that look like, and then build our logging empire over there. So this farm is new. You know what? This farm was not here before. I know specifically now, and I know I mentioned that being an airstrip over there, and all this is new because, and here's the other reason. It just reminded me when we drove up this driveway in my preview. Okay, we drove right here, and I seen these power poles, and they stopped here. And I said, you know what? This would make a handy new place for a farm. They've already got power ran up here to you, and you could put your farm right here at the end of the power line. Uh huh. Uh huh. So I'm not losing it. Okay. There you go. See, Kay's helping me out. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's head over to the house and get to the point that I kind of get around on the map too now too, if it makes me happy. I like living off the grid. Dave, how are you, buddy? I know you do. All is well, I hope, out your way. Yeah. But we'll run. But like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the preview because we're going to spend a little time. Uh, we're going to spend a little time just doing our own thing, trying to have a little bit more of a relaxing day. We're going to go down and look at one more project we have set up, and then we'll. But look at these fields. I mean, it's really cool. I like the flat atmosphere down here. I like the more wooded, odd shaped stuff up there. It's really good. That's too far. We're not going down there. We'll just go to the house here. The house is right over here. So I've not done my driveway yet. Last time the driveway was the first thing I did. So this is the second time I built this. First time was nowhere. Chris got to see the first one. The first one was nowhere near. So that's my little start of my contracting business is down there. We'll go look at that another time. So right here's where you start. This is the initial purchase place, and I think I said this. I think I said this during the preview a little bit. When I go on a new map, okay, I typically drive the whole thing. I look everywhere. I fly over it, and it takes me like a little bit of time to figure out. Well, yeah, you saw the second one too. We're getting ready to see where I'm at now. We start working on that wall now. Um, and it takes me some time to figure out where I'm going to build my farm or my house. I will tell you. on it. I literally bought a truck here. It landed. I drove out like I am in my Polaris here, right? I drove like this. I turned here and I drove by. I'm like going, I got to here. I was like, what the hell is that right there? So I back up here and I'm like, now we are going to go in here like this. I'm like, what the hell is this? So this is in the game. This is exactly how it was. I got my truck parked down here, get it out of the way. Right? So I drive up here and it's trees all up here on the left, right? So I come around here and I clear this hill off with the tree muncher, right? And we put the house here. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it here. We're still working on it. We're not done. So I was working at work. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run the high lift, and we're working on the wall on the other side. Okay. All of this was done with a machine. None of this was with the terraform tools in the game. It was all done with a machine. So every bit of excavating, every bit of um, everything sculpting wise has been done with a machine. Okay. We did this driveway slope here. All this has been done with a machine. Everything. So what we're going to do, and the machines I did it with, we're going to pull this in here. We're going to do a interior decorators are still inside working, but between that machine there, this mini excavator here, and the high lift, that's what's done all this work. So it's kind of crazy. All right. I don't remember what this slope was here before, but we had to slope all this in here, right? You'll see survey instruments everywhere, for all the different levels, whatever. So it's getting ready. Let's go around here. So we're working on today. That's what we're going to do. Obviously got some stones. We're digging this out right here. So we're kind of disturbing what we did there, right? You can kind of see we're taking a little bit off, but I'm not going to worry. And then we're right about where I'm standing. We're going to put a retaining wall like matches that one over there. We'll put a retaining wall that runs all the way down here and then runs all the way up to here and stops somewhere right here. Okay. So we're getting ready to put a pretty good sized retaining wall in here to hold that dirt back. Okay. And then this one here is not done yet because we're actually going to put the swimming pool in, and it's going to go like from right here, like I'm walking, and be in this side right here. So we don't know what's going on yet, whether this has to be backfilled here or what needs to happen. Okay. The interesting thing about this, okay, is between the high lift and the excavator, we dug this out. If you look here, all right, there's a layer of bricks or a retaining wall below the surface here. See how much retaining wall's in there? See, it's all below the surface. So we dug all that out to put this in. Okay, I don't know who left the lights on to the high lift. Who would have done that? Um, all the dirt that was dug out is back in here again. That's why I'm piling it here. That's actually what I came back and then backfilled all this with. This dirt here is backfill from the dirt that I dug for the wall. That's where all this dirt came from. All this dirt up here, everything was dirt generated on site, or I went to my quarry over there and hauled it in over here and dumped it and then put it into place with this machine here. This machine is basically, I don't have a dozer here yet. I don't know that I will. I've used this thing here to do all the leveling, everything on this whole project site's been done with this. It's been the most I've used this machine to this point, and I've really got a kick out of it. It's really, I'm kind of getting the hang of it, if you will. That was kind of my deal in this map here or not this map, but this build. You have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever machines that either you have or is a paid mod or something like that, and you've never used them, right? Because you're like, oh, I always use the dozer, I always use this or that. And this map was a little bit more. This particular project was more about which ones haven't I used and I'm going to use them. So, but that's that. So, um, let's see here, and then like I've always said, Tri-State does such a nice job with their dirt mod on their equipment and what it looks like when you use it. I just love having them this way that you can see them, and it's just so realistic looking. So, yeah, Kay, and we will have to put. We will one of our other projects coming up here is we will. There's a new Caterpillar dealership coming to Hawkeye, Iowa. So you're going to see a new Caterpillar dealership come in. We have a New Holland, but we're going to have a Caterpillar dealership too, and I'll be putting one of those in. So, okay. Um, I think that about catches us up. I think that kind of gets us where we need to go. Let's get going. I think so. What we're going to do is we're going to basically dig this out, and I'll show you how we put them blocks in, and we're going to get the blocks all the way up. I think we're going to get the wall to about right here, and then we'll stop on this part of it till we get the pool part figured out. Okay. And we might have to haul a bunch of dirt in for the pool. I'm not really sure yet. Feels like we are. Okay. And then here's the other thing I showed Chris the other day. But we're not gonna. Let's do this real quick. These rooms in the house here, I'm not gonna go in because they're still working on them. But look, I'll go here, right? I mean, with a little bit of tree work here, I mean, look at the view this house would have if I did a little bit, took a few more of these taller trees down right here. You would see this whole valley in like 3 directions. So I might go in here and figure out how to cut this tree down right here and like a couple of these right through here, and might open the view up to the fields down below there. We'll just have to wait and see. We've got to get the house done first. But yeah, as you can tell, the house is pretty badass, to be honest with you. I don't know that I've ever used this one. So that's the other part that's weird. All right. See this here? I'm warming my piece of equipment up. Don't have the breakdown stuff in or whatever, but I'm trying to keep in the habit of doing that. All right. So it's an hour and we've not even put a shovel in the dirt yet. Dear Lord. Right when and we usually take this pretty slow. Kay is here. I do not. It's available. Kay will have to help me. If it could be, Kay, help me here so I got the right information. Is it available on the Patreon now? That we need to check to make sure that is. If it's not, it's coming soon. Okay, yeah. In this profile, I don't have any mud mods in here, and I have no real dirt. I have none of that in here. I don't typically run a. It's on Patreon. It will be out soon to the public. There you go. Okay, good. So it is on Patreon right now. If you need, what you need to do, Flying Red's farm, is let's do this here. Let's go here. The best way to keep up with what Kay is doing and all his and all the maps, because this isn't the only one he has, okay, is you need to turn around and there is his Discord as well. You need to join his Discord, and then you can keep up with all the news with the K Farms and their team. They constantly have servers open. They have a standard size map. This is their 4x map that's coming out, and then there's also a 16x that's coming out, and then there is another map that's out already, a North Dakota map that he has that's out as well. But jump into his uh, yes, a helipad's got to come. Dave's getting me a helicopter, so I would think the helipad would go like right back where that uh, skid steer is off that way. So yes, we will get a helipad there for sure. Appreciate that, Mage. You know how I roll. That was one of the coolest parts that I liked about 22, and 25 is going to get there because all the mods are coming out, right? But when I built my homesteads and then my business, I had a helipad I would fly each day back and forth, and I always thought that was cool. So, yeah. But yeah, for those interested in K farms and their maps and how to get them, when they're coming, updates on future, all that type of stuff, jump into their Discord and I'm sure you'll find what you need there, for sure. I would tell you you're not going to be disappointed. I will assure you of that, Red's Farm. I will assure you of that. I think the other thing you'll notice um, with with his maps is he's always partnering with the best modders, if that makes sense, when it comes to the buildings and the co-ops and all that type of stuff, and or his team himself is creating the stuff themselves. So between what they can create on their own and the partners that they have, you know what I mean, their maps just have a very high quality to them that a lot struggle to get to, and I don't know why. um, you know, I don't know if not everybody wants to. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but K Farms and his team, they do not have that issue. Like I said, between the stuff they develop themselves and their partners, they're because if I went around when I do the preview, I'll show you. Um, they got usually the buildings from the best sources, and or they're doing their own, and they're just, you know what I mean. It makes just for a good experience playing their maps. And then what I like is I bought this farm down below here. So if you look here, see, you can't see it there. Hang on. So I bought this farm right down here, this 27. Okay. So 27 takes in this whole thing right here, right? So you can see what I kind of did. So I wanted my house up here. Well, hang on. There used to be on the map, there used to be a house like right here somewhere, I think, something like that. There was a house right down here. I was able to go down there and delete that house so that I don't have two on my property, and then I'm building this one up here. And then, like I said, the nice thing is look at the size this piece of property is here, right? And then what I'll end up doing is I'm going to convert field 27 to a laydown yard or overflow yard, if you will. There's a waterway creek here. And then in my sheds, a repair area, and indoor storage will all be in this area here for the civil side. And then what I did is I've bought this field and this one. Okay. You can see that, remember where my pan was sitting at and where that little underground silo, that's where this is. So that's why I'm working this dirt area here and then dragging all that dirt over here to dump it. Okay. The key thing you got to remember is when you have see how this is, the key thing you have to remember is when you have a map and it's like this, and it has this area right here, there's a large area here that you can't, that you can't buy, if that makes sense, right? That's okay. You can still go terraform. You can take all the, like I said, I'm working a quarry. You've seen me doing it down here, everything I need to do. But if you're going to put a placeable down, it has to be within an area you own, right? If you place something in an area you don't own, you can't do nothing with it, right? So that's why theoretically I told you I wanted a bypass through there, but that's really that's the real reason is I wanted to put a silo down, a place to put dirt. I couldn't put it in this area because I would not be able to control it. So that's why I cut that through there and did this up here. But in my mind, all this property here was bought for future mining opportunities, either limestone or dirt, this whole area here. I'm going to work this whole old area first. And if I get to a point that I run out of resources or whatever, then we'll come across, we'll start digging all this up over here. But my plan right now is not to remove any of the trees. I plan on leaving the trees other than to cut paths between here. And then we'll show you what this doesn't, there's nothing done here. There's a house here, I think, but I think I got rid of it already. Yeah, I did because it's not there. What I hate is when you buy properties, if you will, on any map, and they all have houses or homes on them, whatever, farmhouses, whatever you call them. And then when you load in the game, you're loading into a farm or somewhere you don't want to load into, right? Because it will pick the last one or the first one or whatever it does. So now the way this map's set up is I can buy whatever properties I want. If I don't want that home or whatever, I'm able to get rid of it. So now I don't have to worry about where I'm spawning, if that makes sense. And here's the funny thing, right? Wow, that just sounds like that's not really a big deal, or it's not whatever. But you know what? It's the little details like that that make the maps good, or somebody's paying attention to detail, right? That's the difference a lot of times, and why we play certain ones, or why you see me on certain ones. Um, we will go back to Marines though and finish that piping job. That's a series we're going to finish. So that didn't die. We're just hanging out over here for a little bit. Okay. Yeah, we need to get that water treatment plant done over there and get all the streets done. So we have that done. We can show everybody how that works. But this gives us a little break for a different project too for a little bit. I was reading something, not paying attention. I feel like this bucket could be a little higher capacity. I feel like 7 is a little light. I feel like it could be 10 is what I feel like it should be. Uh, but but that's what it is. The front. Obviously, when I'm digging like this, it's a lot slower, right? But I'm trying to minimize how much backfill I'm going to have to do. I think I could come in, and I'm trying to minimize how much rework I got to do to that driveway because that took a while to get it like that. And maybe I should have done this first, but I kind of didn't know what angles I was going to do yet, so that's why I didn't want to. Really, why I kind of needed it done so I could see what it was, so I knew what I was going to, how I was going to do the next, if that makes sense. Mike, you still in here? Let me know if you've been on the server and if that truck is still planting trees or what it's doing. I've not checked on it in like 2 days, so God knows what it's doing. Oops. What I'm noticing is when I'm digging on the bottom, it actually is making the side of the banking there steeper than it did when I filled it from the top. That's kind of interesting. Let's go look at something here real quick. Invite gas. Lab. Oh no. Let's go here. Just checking something real quick. Okay, let's close that. Justin, what are you doing? Where are you at? How are you doing, buddy? Hope all is well. Mike, I don't know that there's any such thing as going back to the old terraform. I think the proper word that I would use there is I never left. I think that would be the proper word, is I actually never left. That would be the proper word. Mike, what I was wanting to know is have you checked the server lately? Have you been on it? I was wanting to know if you could check on my Mercedes truck and see if it's died out there in the middle of the field, because it might have. I've not checked it in about 3 days. Still planted trees. Dude, there's got to be like 80 hours on that truck now. I can't wait to go check it here later today. I can't wait. Good deal. Dave, that'd be cool if someone made a sod mod to lay grass. Well, that's what I would like. Dave, here at a minimum, I would like it if we could come and at least have a straw blowing machine where we come in and just blow the straw in there. Like hydro seed it and have the straw behind it. I think that would kind of be cool too. I think there's a couple different options there that would be kind of neat, right? I mean, hydro seed stuff sounds like something the farming community could come up with, right? I think that's like almost farming, almost. Feel like Justin, how you been? Well, come on. There you go. Football started. Lacrosse season is officially over. Have 1 week break and then football season starts. Lucky me. Yeah. I lived all that, buddy. I know. I know. And remember what I told you though too, right? I know I know there's people that tease you, give you a hard time, whatever, and most of that's time because they're jealous, if, in case you're wondering. Um, but you got to enjoy every minute of it because I can assure you, you blink your eye and it's over. And you and your wife are looking at each other going like, remember when we used to go to lacrosse games all the time? Remember we used to do this and that? And you're not doing it anymore. So be there and enjoy them all. And I know you are. But yeah, to go back to some of the tournament weekends and the fun we had. Yeah. Yep, I promise you. Absolutely promise you. The funny thing is, everybody's like, man, it's so cool that you guys use the machines, do all that work, and blah, blah, you know what I mean? And all that stuff, which is true. But it takes a lot of time. It doesn't happen overnight. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are definitely. Wait till you see the interior decorator. They're in there working on it now. Wait till you see the inside when it's done. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. I'll have a whole stream on that and a video uploaded on just the interior of this house when it's done. Yeah, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. I mean, we move like 2 feet each time. Really, really. Was it during the day or something? It must have been because Friday night I was at home. PDC Prairie Dirt Classic was on, and I was watching Prairie Dirt Classic on Friday night. But I was out on the other TV. I would have thought I got a notification. Okay. Oh, kind of. Was you streaming? Was you streaming freight line or oil tankers again? I have a question. All right, Harenko, how you doing, buddy? I use Terraform and Terraform machines, but I can't ever find the land surveyor. Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple questions here. Okay. Number one, are you using the newest Terraform, or are you using the one before? You're playing COD. Okay, got it. I figured you're doing the ship lane stuff again. Okay, so the new one does not have a surveyor. Okay, it does not. But you say that's the one you're looking for there that doesn't exist. Well, if you're on the new one, you need to stay on the new one, right? I'm going to be the first one to tell you that. If you're using the new one and you figured it out and you're having fun with it, then just stay on it, okay? But here's what I'm going to tell you, all right? They have this that you can buy, right? This is a laser, is what they call this, right? But it's basically the same thing. It's for it's just an older style, if you will. But it's typically what sits on a job site for them piece of equipment anyway. Okay, right? So it doesn't have it. Basically, is you this here you download stuff to it, and it has all the points in it, and then you just select which one and you run to that. But you can have a placeable here if you want to do that. So are you when you now let me ask this question, okay? When you say you're using the new Terraform, are you using its success and having it's working for you and everything's happening correctly? Or are you saying you can't find the machines, so now you're not able to use it because you think you need the land surveyor? Help me understand which is one problem leading to another, or everything's working okay, and you just want the visual of this surveyor or yeah, the land surveyor. Which help me make sure I understand what you need there. Little commercial break here. We'll get it figured out. I just haven't taken time to learn a new one. I've used the new one already. Mike set it up for me though. I mean, I was I might have done it, but he was talking in my ear while I did it to set it up. So I've not done anything on my own yet. I've not watched any of the videos. Okay, so like when I grade or move dirt, it never allows in rolls land, if you get what I mean. Okay, so like when I grade or move dirt, it's never allows. Well, it's not flat all the time. Yeah, I'm the only thing I can tell you, Harenko. Hang on a minute. Let's go here. Hang on, folks. We're gonna step over here a little bit. I'm gonna help so we can help him. Uh, hold on. We're looking. I have something I can. Yeah, so even when I got in, me and Mike was on a server right before this, and I did a bunch of dirt work on it because Mike uses the new one. And when I jumped in there, he had it separated. I just ran with it till it was done. Uh, hang on. Getting close, I think. Uh, no. going back and looking through a bunch of stuff that Mike sent me, and I'm seeing a lot of the emojis we send to each other and laughing at myself here while I'm looking at all this. Unless he put it in a group to us. Might have put it in a group chat to me. No, hang on, let me go a little bit farther. I thought, I don't see it. What I was going to tell you is I thought Mike had sent me a video. Hang on. Let's see, jump to present. Yeah, I need the video that you sent me to teach me how to do it. Yeah, hold on a second. Mike's going to send me a video. I'm going to forward it to you. Or he's going to send it to you directly, Aranko, one of the way. Between him or I, we'll get you something here. Yeah. You sent it? Okay. Aranko, check your DMs. Mike sent it to you directly. Okay. And supposedly that will answer everything you need to have answered. Now, Mike has promised for a while, and he continues to let this job, family, house, and chores get in the way of this. Okay. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm sorry. Well, I'll just leave with I'm sorry. But he's been promised us for a while a new Terraform for Knuckleheads version so that we all know how to do it, right? But we become kind of low on the list, right? So maybe at some point he can squeeze us in, real serious on it, right? And do that. Until then, we'll have to use them videos like he sent you there, buddy. Okay. But I am no help. I apologize for that. If you want to have the simulation or the role play of having equipment like that, just send me a DM and I'll send that to you. But I'm no help on the new stuff because I don't use it. What I do, I'm gonna get out of where am I at? Here I am. What I will tell you is probably how I have this set up, even though it's a couple different. There's three different ones on this property to do everything I'm doing. Okay, this one is set up for the slope of the driveway. This one is set up for the bottom of the wall, and there's one back here. This is for the level of the house, right? So this won't change. So I have several that are set to what I want, and whenever what I need, then I latch onto it and go. So for me, this is similar total station use for what I'm used to. You know what I mean? I realize I'd be able to use the same machine, just click it, right? But the coolest thing I think I found with the new stuff, and let's do it say it like this. You could have one person on your map with you that was the Terraform guy or approved all the digs or whatever, and he could run around and map all the digs out for the whole roleplay server. Call them whatever it is. You call it Project 1, Project 2, Project 3. You could call it the McDonald's. You could call it the sewer job, whatever you wanted to call it. And he could set all those up and have them saved into the game save. And when you went to that project, you would click on your project name, click on your survey thing, and your machine would only dig where you were allowed to based on what he set up. That's kind of cool. That has got a positive spin to it, if you will, for of what its control methods of it is, right? Um, so that part does work. Yeah, correct, right. So that's a nice feature. I just really I'd like to think I've gotten pretty good at using these, and I'm kind of one of those guys that if it's not broke, I tend to not mess with it, right? The other thing is I could either spend today learning how to use a new Terraform, or I could sit here and work on this project and do this, and this is usually ends up what wins. And what the shame of that is this, right? Michael will get on me and he'll be like, "Come on, and he'll keep he'll keep peer pressuring me, and then he'll sit down and take 5 minutes and show me, right? Because he gets fed up with me not doing it. And after he shows me, I'm like, well, that's easy. I can do that, right? And that's usually how it goes, right? But I usually kind of go kicking and screaming a little bit when I have something that goes the way I know it does. So if that makes sense. I didn't say I was right about everything. I just said that's just kind of how I am. So, and like I told you, today was more about just digging this dirt and hanging out and talking a little bit. You know, folks like Aranko come and ask us some questions. We get some help to you guys and kind of go from there. Can't believe how long it takes that thing to dump. You bet, buddy. Anytime. Hang on here a second. I have to. I have my Microsoft 360 open here. Um, and my machine is screaming at me to turn that off because it wants to do updates. Okay, I got that off. All right, I'm good again. So Justin, how was the Kings? Was it good? I think you guys got like a lot of rain up there while that was going on. I think, didn't you? Or how did that all go? No, Justin. 203 was up at the Eldora for the Kings race, 4 crowns. Sorry. I think they were having quite a bit of rain or something there during that deal. We did get some rain, not as bad as what it could have been. We got lucky and missed a lot of the rain, but overall it was an awesome. Yeah, good. I kept seeing the Eldora girls out traveling around pit area doing stuff at different events. I kept looking for you. Yeah. Well, PDC's done now. Prater Classic was this weekend. I was actually supposed to go, and like I said, I had some other issues I needed to attend to. But yeah, I can't believe Prater Classic's done now for this year. Saturday's practice and Q was moved up to beat the rain. Then heats went on later than normal, but we were still done racing by like 11:30. Well, that's pretty good. There have been many years of not getting out of there until. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I've been there, done that, survived that. That is for sure. And especially a place like Eldora has no curfew of any kind. If they want to do it, they basically can do it. That is for sure. Good deal. I only lost one easy up this year due to the wind, so I'll take that whistle. Um, I I will tell you that I seen something last week on a job site when it comes to easy ups, and in the same manner where I told you I didn't know that you could play it, I learned something new. Now I've been around easy ups for 20, 15, 20 years now with all the soccer games and how many I've bought, how many I've rescued that people threw away and saved parts to keep mine together. Tell me if you knew this. All right, you ready? How do you fasten yours down to the ground? How do you do that? That's going to be the first question I have. How do you fasten it to the ground? How do you hold it down? I think I know the answer, but let me know how you fasten your easy ups to the ground, or how do you hold them down, or how do you do that? So I'm gonna, if you're typing, I'm just gonna assume whatever, right? So typically, what I see, all right, but when you say sandbags, what are you doing? Taking the ropes in the corners and tying them to your sandbags? Sorry for all the questions, right? But are you just taking ropes, the tie-ins from the corners and going down the sandbags, or are you putting sandbags like on the leg? On the legs? What do you do? Like wrapping them around the legs or something? What are you doing? You just put them on the legs. All right. I'm about ready. I think I could possibly be ready to change your life for you. Okay. All right. on a job site, right? We use those from time to time, and I was out hanging out with the carpenters last weekend. So you take your easy up with it. I think they're like 10 foot square, right? You grab two. Yeah, there you go. You grab two by fours that are the length of each side, right? Not all four, just two sides. Two by fours. Okay. And then you screw the legs down into the two by four, two legs into the two by four on one side, go to the opposite side and put a two by four across there, screw the easy up into the two by four. Okay. So you're using a nice, not a drywall screw, you're using a nice fat head screw of some kind, and then running that leg. Remember how there's two holes in the bottom? You're running that leg into that two by four in all four corners. So there's two by fours, and they both have two legs on it. And then you lay your sandbags on those two by fours, and let the two by fours keep it square level where it's supposed to be. And then also that two by fours going leg to leg, that gives you room to lay your sandbags down so that you're putting as much sandbags as you want on it to hold it down. And the cool thing is when you're done with it, you take your screws out, put your screws back in the board again, and you just throw them in the truck or we'll throw them in the back of the trailer, wherever they go, and you have them. I seen that the other day on a asphalt parking lot. They did it on an asphalt parking lot, and I was like, a lot of times these people with the turf fields, they don't like you to have anything into their fields when you put your easy ups up. I was like, well, that would work on turf fields and everything. So, and then that way you get them sandbags laying on them nice and flat, and they're not going nowhere with four sandbags on them, much less probably three. With all the stuff you're taking outdoor, I don't see why that wouldn't work, or you wouldn't have room for it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I hear you. I think what I would tell you is, if I remember right, I think they do wiggle because you're just fastening the bottom and the top wiggles. But yeah, I hear your point. We were where this was at was we're working a job at the airport here, so we were dealing with a lot of wind there. So it looked like they were doing pretty good there, if that helps. Yeah, we got plenty of lumber. Hello, my DJ stand was a huge hit. It's a good deal. Tell you what, the angle of this bucket makes a huge difference on how fast it empties. That's for sure. Oh, watching fireworks, yeah, good deal. Sorry. Oh, cool. That's really neat. Yeah, I like that. Well, and the only way they're going to get to the point that they like going to the races if they go and find out why and why it's cool and why it's fun. So if you don't take them, they'll never figure it out, right? That's awesome. They love it. I took them to the Kings one year since my group was busy with travel baseball, and now they want to go every year, but they got to be a bit older to deal with the shit we do down there. But I'll take them to smaller events down there. It's only a few hour drive when I'm not pulling the campers and stuff. Yeah. Well, what we're hoping is maybe by taking them, you don't have to carry as much bail money, and we don't have to worry about people on the towers and stuff. Maybe it's a little bit of a restrictor plate, right? Yeah, when they're with me, it's a whole different story. Yeah, I would tell you them 150s, their GVW is about what Ford and Chevrolet and Dodge's 3/4 tons used to be back in the 2000s. Is about where the F-150s are these days. Only real, I had a guy retired a couple years ago and showed me what the GVW and pulling of those F-150 was, and I was shocked. Doesn't mean the thing still weighs what it does, and it's pulling some of the diesel engine is always preferred or a little less white knuckle. But yeah, the half ton trucks in general now haul incredible amount. Hell, I used to run a B plate. Illinois has different level plates, but I used to run a B level plate on my 1 ton trucks back in the day. And now you have to, they're in a different class, they're in a C. So, and I've seen some guys that have them are running D plates, you know. Yeah, you got to just take that in consideration, Justin. That's, I, the funny part of this is I can tell you this, and you guys will probably appreciate it. My grandfather he had a 1974 Chevrolet El Camino that probably hauled more than both of you two guys have ever hauled in either one of your trucks. Oh, dear Lord. That's fun, though. They used to put 454s in those El Caminos back in the day, and you felt like you could pull your house with you. The funny thing is about back in those days, I like back in the day, they would just put air shocks on the back of these things and just do whatever they wanted to do. So they would turn around and put a bazillion pounds of weight. Uh, they put a bazillion pounds of weight on them 4 bolts or 2 bolts back there on the rim. What do you want to see? Let's see the PO point of view. What this? This view? Yeah, I typically don't run this lot because I think it looks. I like it, but I always feel it's boring for everybody. It's all good. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, it's all good. I always assume. I always assume this is harder to tell. Whatever you know what I mean. What's going on outside the rig? You know, it's more natural for what we see, right? Oh yeah. You know, the thing is, though, is that 74 El Camino. It probably had at 454, uh, 454, 74 El Camino, and it probably had 245 horse, maybe 285, and we thought the thing was a rocket ship. That's the part that's funny. All them cars back in the 70s had the right motors in them, just none of them had horsepower, literally none. And you know, we're sitting around here driving around in 600, thinking we're, you know what I mean? You know, I've told, I think if I haven't, I'll tell it real quick. My dad has the first and last Firebird, so he has a '67 Ram Air 400 Firebird convertible, and so that's the 375 horse 400 Ram Air 400. It's the GTO motor in the car. If you don't know the GTO story, that's another day, and Google that and see what that meant. But it was the GTO motor in the Firebird, 375 horse Ram Air 400, and then he has a 2002. The Firebird's red, red with a black top, black interior. Um, and then I guess it's a 2002 Ram Air Trans Am convertible, same high output car. So it's a 320 horse car with a 5 speed in it, manual. Okay. All right. So the one's 375 and the other's 320. And I can tell you uh, that 2002 Ram Air Trans Am walks all over that old car. That old car can't even run with it. That's how much difference, how much faster that 320 horse is. So, two things. I think back in the 70s and 60s, when you heard people say horsepower, they heard them when they would tell you that, they would give you a rating, you know, for a dealership, whatever. I'm pretty sure that was crankshaft horsepower. And then the new Trans Am he has, well, it's not new, it's 2002. He both bought them. He has them both since new. No, the 2002 since new, the 67 were restored. Um, the old one I think is flywheel horsepower, and the new one is rear wheel. I think that's really the difference, if you really want to know. But yeah, that the old one's more fun to drive. I will tell you that, because when you're in the gas, it's all over the place. You have to steer it to make it go straight. The new one will just about go straight on its own. So, yeah, but it's pretty neat to see the difference between them cars. And he's into the convertibles and manual shift cars. That's every. I think that uh, 67. I think is. I have to think about it. I think that's the only car he has that's not a manual, and it didn't come in a manual, so that's why you don't have it. And he won't change it if it's not the way it came. He's not going to change it. So the old one's fun to drive. I won't lie to you there. I think the old one, the red car, has 51,000 original miles on it. I think is what's on it. And the 2002, I think, just turned over 35,000. All right, we're going to get to some wall building here in just about two or three more scoops. It's a lot. Oh, it's only 14. Gosh, I thought it was more, actually. No, that truck's not a year old. That truck's first of the year old. Oh, March. There you go. Justin, that truck would be considered, in most terms, a high mileage truck. All right, we're gonna one more scoop, and I think we'll just get on some walls. All right, I think we're good now. We can get this wall building. All right. So what I'm wondering, let's look here. I wonder if those fit on my dozer. Huh. Maybe I buy them either way. Oopsie. I thought I turned the collision on. Let me look. Yeah, it's on. Sit on the concrete. That didn't help. Guess we'll just let it. We'll let it be. That doesn't look like that though. It's funny. Neither one of them had collision. Okay. Go down to the truck. Where's the dirt? Where's the dirt track going? In on the. Oh yeah. Don't have one yet on here. Salem, South Dakota does. Is it Salem? Salem's got a dirt track on it. Let's do this. Oops, hang on. gotta remind myself to do this. There it is. All right, this is where everybody's going to lose their mind. Is loading this many bricks on this truck. I was going to drive up on there, but I didn't want to take a chance of losing any. This looks like this is going to work, so we'll go with this. Yeah, I do too, buddy. If you don't have these forks are from the RMC Caterpillar telehandler. I use it on this lull. If you don't have them forks for it, you're missing a big part of what you can do with this thing. I love this telehandler with those forks on it. If that makes sense. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a must-have, buddy. But yeah, these forks are off of the Caterpillar telehandler from RMC, and then I put them onto this telehandler. I like this, actually like this telehandler the best. It's the one I use. I agree. The biggest thing about the Caterpillar one is its key bindings are opposite than all the other telehandlers. It's different, right? So I just need to go in and reprogram it to what I normally have on a telehandler. And I might use it more. It's definitely bigger, a whole lot bigger. But so far, everything I use this one for. Let's load up these other ones here, and then we'll go up and we'll probably put the bottom part of that wall on maybe, or I don't know. I'm just kind of messing around, so I'm trying not to. Hope it's not too boring. We're just messing around. Never boring. Okay, got it. That's the only thing I ever worry about when stuff doesn't like move along. When stuff doesn't move along or projects don't move along fast enough, you know what I mean? But like I said, today was more about therapeutic for me and just having time to sit and kind of messing around. I kind of like stacking two at a time and then stacking the doubles. Actually felt a little bit better. When you get the heel of that telehandler's forks on the ground and you move it, just telehandler goes a lot of weird directions. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Have to adjust that for next time. Truck's a little close to the fence, you know. Yeah, I have farm sticks. No, I have one. I have one in the steering wheel. Farm stick's really good. I think that's the best part of the farm stick is there really was no key binding. It was a plug in. Here you go. It's rolling. And specifically because I just did the standard configuration, it was uh, it was even more simple if that makes sense. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this to get them straight. And we're gonna back up. I was kind of afraid of that, Harinko. I don't need into the forks like that, and the back gets pretty light. Yeah, I was thinking that was probably gonna be it. Because even though it handled it pretty nice where when it was all the way back in the back, I was like, it's pretty close. You'd think this truck driver would move the truck out a little bit too to make it easier, wouldn't you? freaking truck drivers. Starting to squat a little bit. Wow, hit that hard. What am I doing here? Why are those things crooked? Yeah, you bet, Justin. Talk to you soon. I like mine medium. It's 114 in the shade here. Plains ain't going out to cook nothing. I'm thinking about cold ham sandwiches at this point. Or ice cream, exactly. Exactly. Homemade orange with pineapple. Oh, wait a minute. I'm preparing for a Greek meal. Okay, okay. Grilled chicken, roasted taters, asparagus, or I'm in. Homemade orange and pineapple. Oh, and cucumber mater onion salad. Dude, wrinkle. I'm in, man. I love it. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Hang on, remember I need to look out the window. Just looking out the window. Police cars at the neighbor's house. Interesting. Yeah, I bet, buddy. I can't wait to start having fishing tournaments on it. Aside from everything else we're gonna do that map, I just Oops, hang on, hang on. There we go. All right, we're gonna set. We'll do 8 more. Put them on the tail here, and then we'll go up and start laying some down. But you just need to get that. If you're working on a lake, that's all we need for you to get that far enough along. We can go fishing on it. Either that, or we get another map to do it on. I guess. You know, either one's okay. I just think when you get a, I think that's a. I think we just host that on our multiplayer on our machine, and we get a fish tournament going. Well, let's back up here. Okay. Mars, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. We're loading the last build of our bricks up, our blocks, or retaining wall, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. I'm watching all the YouTube. Okay. Did you? So one thing we talked about early when I first came on is I'm going to be introducing my Scott County, Missouri series that I did some time ago, but stumbled upon them in my archives, and so I'm going to be bringing that series of stuff we did to YouTube as well. Okay, so that's got that. Remember that little waterway we did with the dam and all that? It's going to have that in it and everything like that. So I'm going to drop that into YouTube starting this coming week. So I have some more stuff coming. Like I said, I needed spend some time away. Had some stuff I needed to do, but I am back home now, and all is well. I will get back to whatever normal looks like. We'll get back to that. Yeah, I'm going to do another preview on this map as well, Mars. This is the final edition, the final before the final. You know, before, I think this is the final leading up to the last little bit and then publication. But quite a bit has changed on this Hawkeye, Iowa map between the revision I did the preview on and this one I'm on now. There's a lot more farms added. There's just a lot more. The map itself hasn't changed. Just a lot more content. So I'm going to do another preview here, but I wanted to spend some time on it first. We've been working on my house on this one the whole time today. And, but yeah, I expect a preview on this one coming out. It's on Patreon right now, but it will come out for public here after that, after testing all that. That's what Kay said. This is from K Farm, so yes, it will be. Or at least I'm pretty sure that's what he said. It'll eventually get there. How's that sound? But it is on his Patreon now, but it will work towards that. It is a 4X. So this is Hawkeye, Iowa. This is flat down here, and this is hilly and um, and obviously not square fields, more natural terrain fields. Um, I would tell you when I did the preview, we probably looked at 4 farms, maybe five. I think about 4. I think there's 7 to 8. So there's 3 to 4 new farms put in here since the version I showed you guys. So yeah, it's a lot more content. The map itself hasn't changed. You know, no, nothing like that has changed. So, but it is a 4X. If you're not following K Farms on his Discord, um, let me know. I'll put it back in the chat. I think I can just put it back in here. I think that's what's teed up. Yep. Join his Discord, and you can keep up with everything he's doing. He's got a standard size maps. He's got 16Xs. He's got a North Dakota map. I think it's don't hold me to it. Feels like it's Webster or something like that. A North Dakota map that's really good, and then there'll be a Salem, South Dakota will be coming out here at some time too, as soon, and it's number 16. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Let's get this strapped on here. All right. I think we should be good. Seems like last time I hauled this many, I had some up on the platform on the gooseneck as well. Heck, I bet I could get, that's 32. I could probably get 40 on here, 40, and then four. I bet I could get 44 on here. How about that? Okay. I've been pulling up everything I've hauled up here. I pull like to this one spot. I don't know if it's level or what the deal is, but it seems like the truck will sit here. When I pull up like through here, so I can go a little bit farther, maybe. Maybe I, maybe I can go up into here. Oh, look at the flex on them. Oh yeah. Oh, Duramax got some flex on her. Look at that. All right. All right. Let's do that. And let's get our game plan going here. So the reason we're digging past here is normally what I like to do is I like to interweave the bricks, which are the retaining wall, which I can still do, but I don't plan on having this wall here where I'm standing as deep as this other one. I needed that one here to be that deep, just so I could get it all the way down to here. So here's, I'm going to show you what I mean. So here's your natural terrain out here, right? So, oops, hang on, all over the place. Let's do this here. Do this. This needs to go down to about 4. All right. Where's where's my okay. All right. I'm better now. Gotta do something to help myself here real quick. Just so I can see what's going on here. All right. So I think what I'm going to do, this tree is like in a horrible place. I'm going to end up cutting this thing down. Maybe we'll just go this way. I feel like we're going to go about this far And then I might start angling it down there. Feel like that's got to go. Feel like that's got to go farther back. So it's a little different than I built that other wall. It's a little trickier to do it this way. Make sure you don't mess yourself up, but we're also, first time I built these walls like this, I'm kind of trying something here because I don't see why it won't work. It might conserve on how many bricks I actually, or retaining room blocks I actually have to So what we're looking at here is to finally get, I think this level now that we're getting ready to go on is going to be the level we go the whole way with. Now I say that because we're going to have to do that like this. And we're just going to see what happens. Remember I told you we're beta testing, right? See, the last time I built, well, normally when you do this, you do these bricks the whole way, and that's not going to make it all the way to the end. So what does that mean? I don't know what that means yet, but we're going to try it. Is this, I don't know what straight is right now. Okay. As long as these other ones are straight. I mean, we're setting them back. You know what I mean? I think this wall's a little crooked. We might have to come in here with the, mm, 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 mm. Okay. Well, let's keep going. We'll figure out. Might have to do some adjusting. Where you at? There you are. So basically, you have to have foundation down right the whole way to set these on, and you can't just sit these in the air. So what I'm trying to do is do this, get the footing put in, even though it's kind of in midair, get the footing in. Then we're going to figure out what we got to do to make it all work. And then I think either, I don't think this thing here's crooked. I don't think. This looks pretty straight. It looks like the wall is a little bit crooked coming back, maybe. But we will make that work. The biggest thing is to at least have a brick below that level. That's why I keep going over there and looking, make sure I'm low enough. So when I backfill, it's going against a brick and not exposing dirt. And we'll just kind of grade all that. We'll make it work. It just might have to feather some of it in or something. I mean, we'll see. We'll be fine. You know, what's the worst thing that could happen? Had to dig a hole and bury it. All right. So see, that's definitely below here. So we should be able to put another row of bricks on top of this one to come around this edge. And then I think, so it's running a little better than I thought it was. That stake made it look kind of ugly, but I think it's actually better than I thought it was going to be. All right. And we might turn around and just tweak the end a little bit here too. All right, what do you, I think that looks like about a 4. Well, let's do this. Hang on. Let's get ourselves a guide. Let's assume this wall is going to be right there, right? So that's how far we need to go. Yeah, we'll get a fishing tournament going, buddy. We will get one going. I think what I'm going to do is you should see the size lake he's got on that map. It's a 16x, and I guarantee you 1x of it is a lake. And Chris, as far as that goes too, right? We could always create a 1x map for just fishing tournaments. You know what I mean? So we just need to talk, and we'll. I mean, obviously we do it on yours, but oh, sometimes that doesn't have anything to do with the boat. Have you tried it on multiple maps, Harenko? Sometimes that's not technically the boat because I've got some maps that doesn't. That's right. Yeah, I've have some maps that my barges don't float on, and others that it does. Just so you know. All right. I think we've pulled this off. All right. So now we're going to fill in some more here. But at least we have this. Technically, we could backfill this in and we'd be good. And then this is set to make the turn. All right. You can see it's going to take a ton of bricks. Ton. What do we need to get from here to there? Like 8. Yeah, I can already see this wall's going to make a turn and go over here towards this truck a little bit. You know, it's still too high right there. and that's okay. We can make that work. Oops, where am I at? One more. All right. So that gets me to, so I'd say the next brick needs to be about right here where I'm standing. Oh, saving. You see why I left my guy standing there? You see that? Okay. Just make sure everybody's. Hang on a second, Chris. I'm going to look at him in a minute. All right. Hang on. I got to check something here. Yeah, that's big. Yeah, I can't wait. Yep, yep. All right, let's get out of here. Perfecto. So that's going to take 10 and go back there. Okay. Oops. Oh, perfect. All right, so I think what's going to happen based on being in here, let me put my eyes like right, hang on. I think my eyes are right at that brick, right? Maybe a little, you get the idea. I think that's going to be perfect. So by the time I bring this dirt over here into that, I'll touch on that stuff there. I think it'll be perfect. Again, this is not the way you do it in real life. This is a video game. We are trying new things. Yes, Sarenko, these are styrofoam blocks that are in here. Thank you for noticing. No, that's awesome. That is awesome. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. I want to go over here. I want to select here, select there, select here, select there. I want to select here. Okay.
Starts stalking her. Meanwhile, she starts to like show him after a year, denying her feelings.
All right. What we're going to do, I appreciate everybody coming in today, hanging out. We've had a great time. At least I have. Got to see one of my tractors dirty. You don't get to see that very often, right? Do that. I'm going to send you over to Gallo. He is also streaming the Hawkeye Iowa map, so let's give him some. Tell him hello from the RPP network, and let's see. Let's do this here. And like I said, get over there to the Discord so you can keep up with what Kay's doing on his maps. Okay. Uh, Looks like he's in the middle of doing that. So let's get over there. Start raid. We'll see when it's ready. Let's everybody go over there and say hi to Gallo. Tell him I said hello, and ask him how he likes the map. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. God bless. Thanks for all the subs. Thanks for the follows, and I will see you this week. I'll be here all week. Thanks.
Hey, sir, can I have some more?
And to have some more.
Yes.
The
Bingo.
RVP
Yes.
network. Let's go.